Hey, welcome back to How to Barbecue Right. I'm Malcolm Reed. Today I'm going to be doing some jerk pork. And I've got this beautiful Cheshire pork belly that I'm going to cut into some cubes, get in a jerk marinade, render the fat on the smoker, toss it in a spicy jerk Caribbean style sauce. Think of pork belly burn ends, Jamaican style. I'm calling this jerk pork belly bites, and they're going to be delicious. Let's get to cooking. So the pork belly I have today is Cheshire Pork, all natural, skinless pork belly. This is kind of the center cut portion. You can see it's kind of the same thickness all the way across. That's what I'm looking for when I want a pork belly. And this Cheshire pork's amazing. It's got a lot of good fat in it. That fat's gonna render down. It's gonna really flavor this lean meat. Probably the best piece of meat on a hog right here. And I'm excited to cook it today. What we're gonna do to make these jerk belly bites is I'm gonna cube it up first. And you want it to end up about a 1 by 1 inch cube, but for that to happen, we've gotta cut it a little bit bigger because these bites are really gonna render down. So I'm just gonna kind of take my knife here and start cutting long strips across this pork belly. It's a little bit wider than 1 inch, but we know that it's gonna shrink down as it cooks. Now we're right in the center of this pork belly. These are where your really great pieces come from. And doesn't that look just like bacon you get at the supermarket? It hasn't been cured. This is its raw form, the pork belly form. But you would cure this and turn it into bacon, cut it into strips. It would look just like that supermarket bacon you buy. Now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna come back and we're gonna cube these. And let me move some of them out of the way so you can kind of see how I'm cutting these. So we're just gonna cut it into these cubes. Think of bite-sized pieces. They're gonna melt down, they're gonna render down, they're gonna get sticky, they're gonna be sweet, they're gonna have that Caribbean heat to them from that jerk. So I'm just gonna knock these out here. And this is the last strip of pork belly. And you can see I've got a mountain of these awesome Cheshire pork belly cubes right now. What we're gonna do next is make a marinade to put these in, and I'm gonna make a fresh jerk marinade. Show you how I put it together. So the jerk marinade that I'm making today is all about fresh ingredients. I mean, I've got onion, garlic, ginger, habanero pepper, pimento, all the elements of jerk. And we're gonna make a puree out of this in the food processor. It's gotta have some jerk seasoning in it. I'm using my Jammin' Jerk. It's gonna give us those Jamaican notes, but we need some liquid as well. So I've got fresh lime juice, soy sauce, we're rounding it all out with water. We're just gonna puree this for a few minutes in the food processor. It's gonna be a little chunky. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. That's what you want. So now we're gonna move all these belly cubes over to one of these zip top meat bags. It's a perfect bag for marinating, for brining. That's a lot of pork belly. Now we're ready for the marinade over the top. And if you can smell this, I mean, you can just get all the freshness from the ginger, the garlic, the onion, all those flavors combined. The pepper in it, man, it's wonderful. Pouring it right over the top of the pork belly. So you just want to get all the air out. You got plenty of space in these big bags. And then we're just going to kind of take and work the marinade around. Make sure every cube of that pork belly has the marinade on it. That's really what's gonna give it some flavor. And just check out how those look in the bag. You can see the pimento, the green onion, all those flavors working on that pork belly. But we need some time really for it to absorb all that good jerk flavor. 6 hours minimum is what you want these to soak. If you wanna go overnight, they'll be even better. Now I'm ready to get these in the refrigerator, and when we come back, we'll take them out and I'll show you how we're gonna cook them. So I let these pork belly hang out in the refrigerator overnight. I wanted the flavors to really get in there. And today I'm gonna cook it on my Traeger pellet grill. Now I've got the Traeger fired up. I'm starting it out on 250 degrees, and I've got a blend of pellets in there. There's some cherry, some hickory, and a little maple, and really give us a nice fruit flavor with that hardwood smoke. And I'm just gonna dump them in the big aluminum pan here. You can tell how the outside of that pork belly has changed, how they've really absorbed some of that flavor from the marinade. We've still got those spices on the outside of it. They smell fantastic. So I like to use these small raised racks. I call them chicken racks because we cook chicken in contest on them. And we're gonna spray each one of these racks with just regular cooking spray so that the pork belly doesn't stick as bad to them. So now we just wanna arrange them fat side up on the rack. There's no right or wrong way. I just like to do them fat up so it kind of renders down. Now, as I get these racks loaded up, I'm just going to take them and put them right on the Traeger. You want to give a little bit of space in between them, but they are going to shrink a lot. We're going to render down, so just give a little room for some air to flow around them. These are looking right. So I've got the Traeger running at 250 degrees. I'm just gonna set our rack right on here. So I'm gonna set the last rack. I put the upper shelf in because I just ran out of room. We're gonna shut the cooker door. All right, now I'm gonna leave them in the smoke on the Traeger about 3 hours. That's really gonna set the color on the outside. I'm gonna spritz them about every 45 minutes with some pineapple juice, give it some more flavor. Then I'll show you how we're gonna break them down after that. All right, let's check on our pork belly. Starting to get some color on them. They've been on just a little over 45 minutes, not quite an hour, but we're starting to see some of that fat render. You can see they're shrinking down. Now we're getting to see space around them. This is where I just want to give them a light spritz. I've got some pineapple juice cut with a little bit of water. You could go straight pineapple juice. I just gave it a little more volume. We're just gonna spritz them, keep letting them roll. They're looking fantastic. All right, I wanna check on these jerk belly bites again. And you can see we're really getting some color. Fat's looking good, it's starting to render. Give them another little spritz with our pineapple juice mixture. I think in another 45 minutes, we're gonna be able to render these dudes. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do that. Let's get the lid closed, keep letting them cook. All right, we've been 3 hours on our pork belly bites. Now it's time to get them tender. I'm gonna take them off a couple racks at a time here. Oh man, he is trying to jump off. Look at that dude though. That's not a beautiful bite of pork belly already. We're not quite through though. We gotta get them tender. I'm just gonna take them over and transfer them to a large size aluminum pan. Let's get them over to the cutting board. Look how beautiful they are. And at this point, we're just transferring them to the pan. We don't care if they get jumbled around, because we're gonna mix them up with some brown sugar, some jerk sauce. Let me get the rest of them over here. Now, we're gonna add some dark brown sugar. And I'm just saying about 2 cups, or about half a bag. That's about what you want on them. This is gonna caramelize down. This is really what's gonna make them sticky. The heat, when we cover them up back on the smoker, it's gonna break this brown sugar down and make us almost like a caramel sauce. I've taken some green onion, some garlic, some habanero, scotch bonnet pepper, sauteed that down in some butter, added some pineapple juice, some lime juice, some ketchup. We just worked it all together with some of our jerk seasoning, and I'm pouring it all over the top of these pork belly burnt ends. And then I'm gonna take my hands and we're just gonna work these around. We don't wanna break them up. We just wanna mix them, make sure everything's covered. Every one of them's gonna be sauced. It's gonna have the sugar element on it. They're gonna be sweet, they're gonna be spicy, and they're gonna be rich as that fat renders down now. This is a messy part. You wanna wear some glove liners because they're screaming hot, but look how good they look. You don't have to worry about standing them up or arranging them. We're just gonna cook them in the pan now, and I'm gonna cover it up with some aluminum foil. I'm ready to get these bites back on the pit. I just pulled the upper rack out because we don't need it anymore. Slide this pan right back in the Traeger. And I'm gonna hold the temp steady at 250. All right, our jerk pork belly has been on for about an hour covered in the foil. This is the point where I wanna check it. So what I'm gonna do is just carefully take the foil off. See all that steam rolling out. You can see they're looking really, really good. Get the foil completely off. So I've got some nitrile gloves on, but I've got some glove liners on underneath because it's extremely hot. You can see how much this sauce is bubbling. And all I'm gonna do is just carefully kind of toss these ends around in the sauce. It's hot, so you wanna work quick. We just wanna get them good and coated. That looks perfect. What we're gonna do now is just scoot them back in a little bit, close the lid, and we're gonna let that sauce cook down, let it caramelize some more, let it thicken up on there. It's gonna glaze these jerk pork belly bites. All right, we've been glazing for about an hour. We've got that beautiful color, that mahogany on the outside. And when I pick one of these pork belly bites up, you can squeeze it and your fingers go almost through it. I mean, they're really rendered. I'm gonna pull them off here. We're gonna get them over to the cutting board, and then I can't wait to try them. And we're gonna take these out of the sauce, let them drain just a little bit, and I'm gonna pile them up right here on the board. And some of them's falling apart, but that's all right, that looks good to me. Now these bites are really rendered down, caramelized on the outside. Now I started out, they were a pretty good sized cube of pork belly, but now you can see they're about 1 inch by 1 inch, and that's exactly where I wanted them to finish. Oh man, this is just lusciousness right here. I mean, screaming hot, rendered down pork, soft as it could be. I can't wait to try one. You can see we've got a really, really good looking bark on the outside of them. The brown sugar kind of browns them up. That jerk flavor is gonna come through. And just check these out. I mean, they are cooked to perfection. They're as soft as they can be. The juice is just running out of them. Tender, the fat's rendered. And I'm gonna try this one. I can't help myself. That's sinful. It's so good. It just melts in your mouth. And that's what pork belly is all about. All the flavor, the richness of good pork, the sauce, the sweetness of the brown sugar, the smoke, it all comes through on these. Oh man, this is where it's at, I'm telling you. Gotta try another one. Wow, that's flavor. You get a little bit of the spice, but they're not hot. They have that jerk flavor. It reminds me of going to Jamaica and trying Jamaican jerk pork. All the essence of it right here in this pork belly. It's a fantastic treat. You couldn't eat a lot of them. They're so rich. The fat just leaves that wonderful juiciness right behind it, but they're tender as they can be. That's what makes it almost like pork candy. Dynamite. I don't have anything else to say about those. They're that good. Wow. If you've never tried pork belly, get you some of that Cheshire pork. You can find pork belly at your grocery store. You may have to ask your butcher for it. Cube it up, get some seasoning on it. Give this jerk method a try. I promise you're gonna love it. It's fantastic, and your friends will thank you for it too. Thanks for hanging out with us today here at How to Barbecue Right. If you like what we're doing, subscribe to our channel. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Shell and I will talk about this recipe, all the other delicious stuff we do on our weekly podcast every Friday. Y'all tune in for that too. We'll see y'all next time. My goodness, Shell, these right here will hurt you. They are just little pillows of heaven. Come on.